Good morning, everyone. And so let's say hi because I got everybody here. First one in this morning was Phelan Klein Wolf, followed by Crew 1351, then Lee Argent and Shady Hill Homestead, and we got a couple others in here because the number's up in the corner up here saying there's more people here. So those are just lurking. Hi, how you doing? Go ahead and say hi, lurking, whatever. And let me also go ahead and get rid of the membership reminder there, banners, and there, that one's gone. Okay, so yes, I'm starting an hour early today. I'm going to start an hour early tomorrow as well at 8 o'clock my time. That's 10 o'clock Eastern time. Today, I'm starting a little bit earlier so I can go the full time and still have a little gap between the end of this live stream and the starting of my live stream with Shadow Scout Swede. So that's why we're starting a little early here. Tomorrow, right after I do the live stream tomorrow morning, I'm going to be going live in the kitchen. I've got a 10-pound chub of come on, brainwork, ground beef. I'm going to try out my new masher. If you didn't see, I haven't had I haven't had a chance to put that out yet. Well, also sometime today I got to edit the video I did last night of the hamburger masher cutter and get that out. But I'm going to be doing making several large batches of taco meat and some cowboy beans. And so I'll be canning the cowboy beans, and I'll be freezing some of the taco meat in the Pyrex stuff, and interesting, stuff that you all should be doing. And if you missed last night's live stream over on Camp Patton, it was really good. It was setting up a home grocery store, and we covered a lot of cool things on that. So if you missed that, you may want to go back after this live stream's over and watch that one with Tammy came in on it, and Mark, and we were talking about all the things you can do to set for a home grocery store instead of having to make trips all the time to the store. You make just occasional ones. You grow your own food, stuff like that. Much like they're going to be talking a little bit about here today, a little bit. So let's get into it. Let me pop this up over here. Boom, there we go. Ta-da! And oh, that's right. Everything's screwed up yet. Live stream the other day, and it changed all my settings for size settings for the stuff. So I got to get this back up to 200%. So I can see everything just fine. Yes. All right. There we go. And speaking of Tammy, she's in the house and she is lurking. So that means she's just listening. All righty. So yesterday, after the live stream yesterday, I was going through doing some working on book 2, and I was checking titles and stuff, and I realized I needed to change the title of this one from Dating to Better Than Friends. You'll see why as we get going here. All right, so let's start off on it, and hopefully everything will be good. So chapter 3, Sunday, Better Than Friends. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. This is 23. I wanted to start putting the dates on these things here. 20. So you can tell what year it is as they're going through doing things, and things are changing up on them. All right, so Save that one. All right. Michael was up early before dawn checking the supplies yet again, making sure everything was packed right. His foster parents would be up in about a half an hour. Hang on. I want to make that or so. And they would then hook up the 14-foot trailer to the van, and they would take all the supplies they already had up to the cabin. Yeah, it got to get these little nuances in there to make it flow right. They would take all the supplies they already had up to the cabin and prep it for their moving in on Tuesday or Wednesday. Last night, they decided to go ahead and check out Walmart and found out that, for the most part, people were behaving themselves, following the president's directives. Michael could tell that there were people stocking up on certain supplies, but they were not being panicked about it or pushy for the most part. As always, there were a few that took advantage of any excuse to go wild and take or do whatever they wanted, but they were handled by store security quickly. Michael was both excited and terrified about the approaching asteroid and what it would bring. He was excited about the adventure that it would bring and the opportunity to do more hunting and outdoor skills and other outdoor skills he liked to do. But he was terrified that his family might be hurt or killed by the asteroid or any of the smaller asteroids that could have been knocked. Hang on. Towards the Earth by the larger one. Hang on. Now, I'm going to restructure this whole sentence here a little bit. And the ones caught in its all right. That could have been knocked towards the Earth by the larger one and the ones caught in its gravitational pull, or the actions of the anarchists and panic mobs that could follow after it. Satisfied everything was properly packed for the trip, Michael sat down on one of the cases of dehydrated food in number 10 cans. He leaned back against the inside wall of the trailer and stared out the back as the rose-colored sky of the sun coming up at the rose-colored sky caused by the sun coming up. There, that sounds a little bit better. The warm rays were over the mountain to the east. His phone pinged at him, indicating he had a text message. Who would be up this early to text me, he wondered as he pulled the phone out of his pocket and looked at it. It was from Kimberly. He smiled as he opened it. Hey, Super Scout, can you call me when you get this? Michael quickly tapped the call icon. He immediately thought he should have waited, but it was too late. The phone was already ringing. Now his heart was climbing into his throat with anticipation of talking to her again. Wow, that was a quick callback, Kimberly said with surprise. Did I wake you up? No, I've been up for a while. He sighed. So you're an early riser, huh? she asked in a sexy voice. Michael got her double entendre and smiled. Only when I need to be. After all, I'm a scout. I'm supposed to be prepared. Well, I hope you're prepared for this, she said cautiously. Michael steeled himself and asked, do we need to have this conversation on Skype, face to face, so to speak? Hang on a second. Hang on. She said quickly. His phone pinged and he checked his text box. There was a link for a Talks account. He tapped it and his phone opened in a Talks web page. He clicked on the indicated icon and a couple seconds later, her image appeared on the screen. She was wearing green flannel pajamas and looked like she was sitting on her bed. Wow. That was fast. Hang on, put a comment in there. Wow, that was fast. This is a better image in Skype. I set up an add-on for you to my account last night, just in case you wanted to chat. Thank you. So what do I need to be prepared for? I told you yesterday we were going to my mom's cousin's farm near Alpine, and so are a lot of other of his relatives. We are relegated to one of the small barns. We don't know if there's water to the barn, and if there is there any sort of toilet or shower for us? I don't think so. Yeah, that could be some harsh times, but it's better than a tent. Yeah, I thought about that most of the evening. Actually, I was thinking about my future all night if the asteroids do come and cause everything to go to hell in a handbasket, as my grandma used to say. I don't want to be a second-class citizen living in a barn because of a relation's charity. I want more for my life. She squirmed on her bed to get more comfortable. I was looking at the areas north of the Utah border on Google Earth. If you are within 30 miles of it, everything I looked at looks a lot safer than at my mom's cousin's place. What do you mean? Well, my dad left me some of his novels. She paused, unsure if she should tell Michael what type of novels they were. What novels? The Survivalist by Jerry Ahern, The Ashes by William Johnstone. They're apocalypse stories. I know them. I know, comma. I have them too. Oh, good, she sighed. I was afraid you would think I was some sort of weirdo or something. Never, Michael said a little too loud and quickly. Kimberly blushed and looked down for a second, then continued. Anyways, that is not supposed to be a capital if. There we go, lowercase. All right. If things go the way they do in the novels, then Jake's place is not all that safe of a place to be at. There's no coverage from the road. The house is fully exposed, as are the barns. It can't be defended. I don't want to go to Jake's place. She let out a deep exhale. I don't blame you. I don't know. I know we don't know each other. I know we don't really know each other like we should for this conversation. Hang on here. She sighed heavily and looked away. Dang it. I should have gone over and talked to you after the last match. Heck, I should have done it when my dad told me to 2.5 years ago. She berated herself then quick. She said berating herself. Let me get in there. She said berating herself. comma, then quickly picked back up where she was. I do know that you were an Eagle Scout by the time you were 14, and you earned the Denali Award, which means you were in a Mormon troop or team. She corrected herself quickly, even though you're not Mormon. I have some Mormon friends. They're really honest and trustworthy, and I believe you are too. I try to be. Hang on here. I see Michael said a slight slight blush, BLU blush, creeping, CR across his face. There we go. A slight blush creeping across his face. I've only seen you at archery competitions. Again, I should have talked to you. And you've always acted like a proper gentleman. And everything on your Facebook and everyone is able to talk to says nothing but great things about you. Now I'm getting embarrassed as he hung his head a little. You shouldn't be. You earned all the praise you get. That's why I want to come to your cabin if your foster parents will let me. Just because of that? No. Kimberly paused for a moment. Can we be totally honest and open with each other without any judgments or recriminations? She asked cautiously. Yes, we can. I'll go first if you don't mind, Michael said. Of course I don't mind. Go ahead. I wanted to ask you out at several of the matches, but I heard you had a serious boyfriend. And I didn't want to butt in. Oh, God, no, she has exclaimed. That was just a rumor that Bobby Gentry put out there to keep anyone in that school from asking me out so he could. Did he? Yeah, and I shot him down hard, the dork. She paused for a moment. You see, I wanted to ask you out, but everyone says you were stuck on being proper, that it wouldn't be proper for a girl to ask a boy out. You really wanted to ask me out? Michael asked hopefully. Yes, I did. She looked down at her lap. I do. Then I would love to meet you for breakfast or lunch and talk to you face to face about being able to stay with me, us. Michael corrected quickly and swallowed hard. But what about your mom? I will try to convince her that we shouldn't be at Jake's as soon as I can. She took a deep breath and let it out. But I'm afraid that something bad is going to happen here and at Jake's place. And I will have to leave Jake's without her. She took another deep breath. I'm so worried that I'll be all alone in the world after doomsday. Michael's mouth spoke quicker than his mind could. You're talented, tough, an excellent shot, beautiful, black belt in a couple arts, third level instructor in Jeet Kune Do, smart, very beautiful. You'll get by just fine. Kimberly blushed. You think I'm that beautiful? Very beautiful. Even with this, she pointed to the eye patch over her left eye. Especially with the cool eye patch, Michael grinned. Besides, you'll always have a place with us if you want. Kimberly smiled. Hang on, let me check. Came up. Foster parents, Parent. Your foster parents or with you? Both. But yeah, especially with me. Are you sure? She asked with a sly grin. I'm sure. And it may be just me reading more into our conversation than what's there, but it seems to me we are moving a little fast here. And I don't want to mess anything up by saying the wrong thing. Did that make sense? Kimberly sucked on her lips. Kimberly sucked on her lips and took a deep breath. Slowly let it out as she gathered her courage and spoke. Your Facebook page says you're not seeing anyone, correct? Dang it, that's something I got to change for this entire thing. Stand by while I do a major change to the book here. This is going to be interesting here. So I'm going to do, I want to change the name of this to match the other one. I forgot to do it on this one here. I'm going to have to do it in all the books here now. All right, hang on here. Control F. Facebook. Replace Facebook with replace all. 10 replacements. Okay. 11 replacements done. Okay. Boom, boom. Because like I mentioned in the beginning, some corporation stuff will have different names and stuff in the different timelines here. So I decided to use the term Instaface as one, just to be funny and everything. So I already changed it in the Against the Wind side, and in Blood Moon Rising. So I forgot to change it here. So that took care of that. Instantly changed all the Facebooks into Instaface. All right. Your Instaface page says you're not seeing anyone, correct? I'm not seeing dating or affiliated with anyone right now. But I'm hoping that's about to change. She smiled and let out a soft chuckle. I'm only 1 day older than you, and Michael, seeing her blush and sensing somewhat where she was heading, broke in. Kimberly, will you be my one and only girlfriend? Yes, and more if you want. Michael smiled. 1 day at a time. Dating tomorrow, study next week, engaged the next, she asked hopefully. How about a month or two after that? We don't want to freak our parents out too much. Michael laughed. It's a little late for that, Janet said from just outside the trailer. Michael jerked in surprise and slipped from the box he was sitting on and slid onto the floor. Mom, you scared the bejeebers out of me. So, are you going to introduce me to your fiancé? Janet asked, with disappointment hanging in her voice. Michael got to his feet slowly and brushed himself off, stepping out of the trailer, and faced his foster mother. He held the phone up towards Janet. Mom, this is Kimberly. Kimberly, this is my mom, Janet Clark. Hello, Mrs. Clark. I guess I owe you an explanation. Kimberly, I think both of you owe me an explanation. She fumed, barely able to keep her temper under control. How long have you two been sneaking around? The first time we actually talked was yesterday at Harbor Freight, and then this call this morning. What? Janet practically screamed. You two just met yesterday and you're talking about getting married? We were just kidding about that, Michael protested. Yeah, I was just teasing him, sort of. Mom, we've kind of known each other for a couple of years from the archery competitions. We just discovered that we wanted to ask each other out for quite some time. But misinformation kept us from doing it. Yesterday was the first time we actually got to talk to each other, and it was about solar panels, inverters, and her mom was there, and Michael was at a loss for words as he met his foster mother's stare. And I couldn't get Michael off my mind all night. I texted him this morning, and I opened up to him and fell harder than I thought I would. Wait a minute. Are you saying that you two never even dated, gone to a movie or anything, and both of you were wanting to date, and now you want to get married after a short video call? No, Mom, it was just us kidding about getting married. We just wanted to start dating, Michael said exasperatedly, and then added softer. We should have started dating years ago. I know this sounds weird, Mrs. Clark, but I didn't plan on this. I didn't want to go to my mom's cousin's farm and live in a barn. Mrs. Clark, I need to talk to you in person right away because I kind of really want, because I kind of do really, kind of, kind of do want to get really serious with Michael. What? Michael exclaimed. I'm not sure that it's a good idea the way I feel right now. Janet, hang on here. Janet replied, if you feel I need to be punished after we talk, then so be it. I'll take whatever punishment you want to give me. But please, I need to talk to you and Mr. Clark. Janet was surprised at Kimberly's openness and looked carefully at the girl on the screen. She saw the fear in her eye, the other eye hidden by a black eye patch, and suddenly her heart went out to her. It was the same fear of the unknown that she had seen in most of her foster children. Hang on a second here. Okay, we'll meet with you and your parents. Tomorrow when we get back from, she hesitated, not sure if she should say where they're going. Your cabin, Kimberly finished for her. Janet gave Michael a hard look and said, yes, our cabin. Can we talk this morning before you go? Kimberly said quickly. You could stop by our house on your way. Please. Janet thought for a second, then answered, okay, but you need to tell your parents that you and Michael are planning on getting married, even though Michael thought it was just a joke. Agreed? A smile of hope flashed across Kimberly's face. Agreed. Thank you. We'll see you in, hang on, I want to go put her name in here. Janet checked her watch. Hour and a half. Janet handed the phone back to Michael. I hope you know what you're setting us up for. Michael reached out and hugged his foster, now adopted mother tightly than he ever had before. I love you, Mom. You're the best. Thank you. Kimberly knocked on her mother's bedroom door. Not too loud, but hang on, it's not too loudly, but loud enough to gently wake her. I need to talk to you, she said hesitantly. I've fallen hard for Michael. She could hear her mother rushing from out of bed and across the room to the door. Then the bedroom door opened quickly, and her mother caught herself against the door jamb as she tried to keep her balance from the case of head rush she got from jumping out of bed. What? Let me hang on. She gasped. That boy from Harbor Freight? Yes. Kimberly answered, not being able to keep the smile from flashing across her face. But you hardly know him. I've known him at the archery competitions for years. We just never got together to talk until yesterday. It turns out we've been wanting to ask each other out for several years, but we were given misinformation that kept us from asking. So, oh, hang on, let me fix this up here. Oh, so you wanted to date him, but you waited a couple of years? Well, I guess you're not really, hang on here, really rushing into it. What? I want to marry him. What? Monica shouted. You haven't even dated yet and you want to marry him? What are you thinking? No, don't tell me. His parents are coming over in an hour and a half before they head up to their cabin up north. What? Kimberly and Jackson? I don't know what to say to you. Just talk to the Clarks, please. Monica thought a few seconds. I thought you said his last name was Moore. It is. The Clarks are his foster parents. His parents died when he was very young. Monica's mouth dropped open. Oh, so you two have another connection. I never even considered that. Kimberly frowned as she thought about it. Maybe you're right. I don't know, but there's something else a lot than than that, stronger than that, which had me up most of the night thinking about him. What? I'm not sure. It can't be love at first sight unless it's moving like a glacier. I first saw him. I first saw him almost 4 years ago, and first became interested in him almost 3 years ago. Well, at that rate, you won't be intimate till you're 25, Monica chuckled. Mom, Kimberly yelled, that's not funny. It is to me. Janet didn't say anything until she and Michael, anything else, anything else until she and Michael were back in the house. Then she sat on one of the bars. She sat at one of the stools at the breakfast bar. Okay, spill everything, she said as she crossed her legs and folded her arms. I've sort of known Kimberly for about 4 years from the archery competitions. About 3 years ago, I was going to ask her out, but never did because I was told she had a boyfriend, and I didn't want to butt in. But I just found out she didn't. In fact, she told him no when he did ask her out because she wanted to ask me. Comma. You put a comma in there. But she was told that I don't believe in girls asking boys out, so she never did. So tell, what do you know about her? Janet stared hard at Michael. Where to start? Hang on. Where to start? He paused, thinking. Ugh, thinking about it. Her father was Major James Jackson. Was? Janet asked in a little panic. Yeah, he died in Afghanistan saving his platoon that was trapped during a rescue mission. Oh my goodness, Janice gasped, and I told her to tell her parents. I wonder what she thinks of me. That I didn't tell you who she was, or if you knew you loved me and weren't going to cut her any slack because of it. But still, she sighed. What else? She has a first Dan black belt in karate, a third level instructor in Jeet Kune Do, which she started learning from Diana Lee Inosanto when she was 7. Her left eye was damaged in an accident at junior high school in a chemistry class and became very light sensitive. And as a result, she wears a patch over it to protect her eye from excess light, or a special pair of sunglasses with the left lens being twice as dark as the right lens. The right lens is also auto adjusting. The right lens is an auto adjusting tint lens, which is allow her not to have to change sunglasses when she goes indoors. The patch isn't a total blackout patch, but a mesh material that limits the light coming through, much like a dark pair of sunglasses. How do you know that? Her InstaFace page. He held up his phone. Oh, at the archery competition, she shoots historical bows, mostly a Yumi Hanku bow or an English longbow. Although I only saw her using the Yumi Yanku this year, he said. She's so hot. Oh, he sighed. She's so hot shooting it. Michael! Janet snapped. Did I say that out loud? Yeah. Janet mocked him with a smile. She really has her hooks into you, doesn't she? Michael opened his mouth to speak, but nothing came out. Instead, he got a funny look on his face and cocked his head. Left the word out. To cock his head. Slightly to the side and glanced at the ceiling. Oh, she does. No, Michael said slowly. Not yet. After all, I wasn't the one saying to get engaged. She was. I was just kidding and agreed with it. I don't think she was serious about it either. Yet. I think in a year we might get serious if we survive the ask. Well, maybe. Said. Oh, Michael said suddenly as he hurried to Janet's laptop that was sitting on the counter. You got to see this. Michael opened it up and typed away for several seconds and turned it around towards his adopted mom. This is Kimberly's match from Friday. She's so good, I think you'll see a different side of her here. They watched Kimberly's match with Mitch, and when it was over, Janet said, she sure can handle herself, but I don't see what's so special. It's what happens next that's special. Watch. As they continued to watch, they saw Jason challenge her and listen to her request to the judges. She does seem to have a lot more respect. She does seem to be. Sorry, I just screwed up the sentence here. She does seem to be a lot more respectful than. Hang on here. Then that other boy, Janet said, as the fight began. When the fight was over and Kimberly did the double backflip and landed in the splits, Janet gasped and groaned. Then when Kimberly went to bow the judges and the judges were already bowing to her, Janet stopped the YouTube video. Is that normal to have the judges bow to a contestant? I've never seen that, Michael said proudly of Kimberly. She's very self-assured, yet you saw how humble and respectful she was to the judges and referee. She's the greatest. She is pretty special, Janet agreed, then asked, when did her father die? A little over 2 years ago. Janet felt a little better about Kimberly as a person, knowing that she came from the family of the hero, but at the same time, she felt awkward saying parents to her, even though she had no way of knowing that her dad was dead. She also had reservations about her because of the eye patch. She knew that was wrong and that she was trying hard to get over it. We'll just have to see what happens when we talk to her in person. Talk to who? Benjamin asked as he walked into the room. Michael's fiancée, Janet said as she stood up from the bar stool. She's not my fiancée, Michael protested, and then smiled. Unless you're saying she is. That's not what I meant, Janet responded quickly, realizing she had set herself up to being trapped into agreeing to it. I was joking, teasing you. So were we, Michael smiled. I'm confused, Benjamin said as he made a cup of hot apple cider. We're meeting her in an hour, Janet said. Is everything loaded, Michael? Benjamin asked, changing the subject. Checked and double checked, but there's still room. There's still some room. Let me add some more time. If we want to add some more, boy, the typo did something weird there. If we want to add some more, then I don't see a problem meeting my new daughter-in-law. They're not getting married, Janet said quickly at the same time as Michael saying, we're not getting married. Right. They're not. Shakespeare. Oh, they're not, Janet snapped. Shakespeare. We're not protesting too much, Michael and Janet said at the same time. Right. And he walked out of the kitchen. All right. Michael and his parents had finished loading some more smaller items into the back of the trailer and were heading to the Jacksons' home before going to their vacation cabin in northern Arizona. They were taking just two of their vehicles. Janet and Michael were in the 1969 Jeep Wagoneer, and Benjamin was driving Janet's Chevy van, which was pulling the trailer. Michael called Kimberly back to get directions from her and let her know about the conversation with his parents. They arrived a little less than an hour and a half. They arrived a little less than an hour and a half after Janet had set it up with Kimberly. No, that's not right. Had agreed to it with Kimberly. Yeah, that sounds much better. They arrived a little than an hour and a half. Then the hour and a half. Yeah, okay, I had it right to begin with. So hang on. Wrong button. There we go. Okay, they arrived a little less than the hour and a half that Janet had agreed to with Kimberly. Michael, Janet, and Benjamin made their way up the driveway to the ranch-style house that was set way back from the street on the 5-acre lot that the Jacksons owned for about 5 years. Owned for five years, but had lived in for 4. Michael was about to knock on the door when it opened inward. Kimberly stood there dressed in blue jeans, a red plaid flannel shirt, but her feet were still bare. She smiled broadly at Michael and maintained less of one as she greeted Benjamin and Janet with her disapproving gaze. Sorry. Gaze. Yeah. Please come in and have a seat. My mom will be right out. She gestured to the plush corduroy covered couch. Once they were seated, she sat cross-legged on one of the 2 recliners at either end of the couch at 90 degrees to the couch. She sat herself on the one closest to Janet. Thank you for coming, Mr. and Mrs. Clark. Did Michael tell you everything we talked about this morning? Janet cleared her throat and answered, yes, he did, as well as what happened at Harbor Freight yesterday. So do you begin to understand why I did what I did? A little about some and still confused about most. But why Michael? Genetics and basic security syndrome. I've wanted to date him for a couple years now, and now I want someone that can provide food and safety for me and our children and still have a gentle side. Plus, he's very easy on the eyes. Michael's face turned bright red as he tried to hide as he quickly raised his hands to his forehead. And he's very humble, Kimberly said with a gesture to Michael. Yes, he is humble and good looking, but how do you know he'll be able to provide for you? I know he can hunt, fish, work wood, leather, metal, and make pottery, she added, and a whole bunch of other skills he learned getting his Eagle rank. Janet smiled back, nodding in agreement, but there are other Eagle Scouts that hunt and fish. Why Michael specifically? Kimberly blushed and lowered her head a little. Well, for years I've been watching him at the archery competitions and wanted to ask him out, but I was misinformed about his attitudes of girls asking boys out. Then yesterday at Harbor, after I bumped into him, his male pheromones took hold of me. Huh? Benjamin asked, confused. Every time I got close to him, his pheromones gave me THO big time. What's THO? Michael asked, bewildered. Janet snickered and put her hand over her mouth, and Benjamin looked away at the corner of the ceiling. Kimberly raised her fist in front of her breast and poked her index finger straight out. Titty hard on. Kimberly Jackson! Monica shouted from the hall doorway. Michael turned bright red and put both hands over his face again. What? He's going to see it happen when we're married, if, both Janet and Monica said at the same time. With that, Kimberly looked down, duly chastised. If you give us permission. Monica walked into the room and sat in the other recliner. May I presume by your response we agreement on that we are in agreement on their seeing each other? I'm not against them seeing each other, only on them getting married right now. I see. Monica, obviously not pleased with Janet's reply. Janet turned to Kimberly. Have you told your mother what you told Michael on the phone? Kimberly fidgeted in her chair. Not exactly. She lowered her eyes, avoiding her mother's gaze. Kimberly, what have you been telling them you haven't told me? Kimberly hesitated and wrung her hands as she squirmed a little in her chair. Well, come on, out with it, Monica said with annoyance. We promised no secrets. Kimberly took a breath and blurted out, I don't want to go to Jake's and live in a barn. It just doesn't feel right. Just not safe. I get a feeling like we're going into bad trouble. I really don't want you to go there either. I have this really bad feeling that something awful will happen if we stay there. Something awful happened to us if we stay there. Monica blinked hard in surprise. What, you don't trust our relatives, but you trust strangers more? No, not that. Something awful is going to happen to everyone there. Hang on, let me change that up. Boom, 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 to everyone there. I just feel it. Jumping up from the chair, she hurried over to the kitchen counter and picked up a laptop and brought it back to her mother's chair. I was Googling Jake's place when I saw the satellite picture. I got this really bad, creepy feeling. Hang on, let me get some water here. My throat's starting to get thickened up here. All right, there we go. uh, there's no protection from anyone who might want to take it over. Kimberly, Monica spoke softly now as she looked at the laptop. Jake's place is in a nicer area than here. People there aren't like that. Those aren't the ones I'm worried about, Kimberly burst out anxiously. It's the ones fleeing from here heading there that I'm worried about. The ones with guns and without food. The ones that think they're entitled to take what they want or need. Monica sat back and thought about Kimberly's concerns. I'll call Jake and tell him about your concerns and see what he says. But I don't think we have to worry about that way up there. Mrs. Jackson, Michael spoke up. Yes, she glared at Michael. I've read in several books and reports that state that state in any number of major national disaster scenarios where food and fuel production is interrupted for 30 days, full recovery could take up to 3 years to get back to where it was before the disaster. If production is interrupted for 30 to 60 days, then recovery could take 5 to 8 years. And after 70 to 90 days, it could take as long as 12 to 15 years because of the die-off that would be in effect. And after 90 days, it could take over 20 years to fully recover. We would lose over 50% of the population to hunger and violent criminal acts, as well as infrastructure being damaged or totally destroyed. Michael leaned forward. If enough people abandon the cities and industrial centers, even for a month, they may not be able to get back to the things that hang on. They may not be able to get back to getting things working again for another 2 or 3 months due to the lack of fuel, due to the loss of production. And that's just the lack of fuel and transportation issues. Some may not want to come back for safety reasons such as crime and riots. Benjamin cleared his throat. If you don't mind my asking, how long were you planning to stay at your cousin's farm? Monica looked around nervously, as hoping not to have to stay there later than April or May. So 6 to 7 months. And if most of the good people stayed away only half that long, what do you think it would be like in the cities? Monica thought for a moment. I don't think I'd want to come back. How long could you last at your cousin's farm? Benjamin asked, leaning forward, looking over his half-rimmed glasses at Monica. I don't know. We're taking seeds to grow some food, but I wasn't thinking we would have to go long-term with stuff. Benjamin stood up and looked over his half-rimmed glasses at Monica. Our son wants you to be part of our family. Will you come outside and look what we are taking to our cabin today? Okay, Monica replied, not sure what they wanted to show her. She slid forward in the chair, stood up, following Janet to the door and outside. On the front porch, Benjamin asked, "Can we back the trailer up into the driveway for a little more privacy from wandering eyes?" Sure. Benjamin backed the van and trailer into the long driveway, and Michael backed the Jeep in. Janet led Monica and Kimberly over to the side door of the van and opened it carefully, making sure the load hadn't shifted and would come spilling out. Michael opened the back of the trailer. We already keep about 9 months worth of supplies at our cabin. and we have over 2 years worth here. When we get back tomorrow, we're planning to load up with more supplies and head up back early Tuesday morning, Janet said to Monica. Your daughter has good insight and a good heart. Better than mine, I think. You might want to follow her lead in this and get more supplies tomorrow before you go to wherever you decide to go. Personally, after looking at the Google image, I wouldn't want to stay at Jake's for more than a couple days max if things take a turn for the worse down here. People would be fleeing from here and heading up there. Most of them will become. Hang on, let me make that. Most of them will, emphasized, become troublesome because they won't have food. We would be okay with our son dating your daughter. In fact, we'd be honored for him to date her. She is something special. But there will be no marriage until they are 18, barring the end of the world. Janet added softly, then returned to normal. We have room at our cabin, and there's land to hunt and raise food on. You and Kimberly are welcome to stay with us. We appreciate your offer, but we'll have to talk more about it between ourselves, Monica said thoughtfully, before we make a commitment to anything. Then she whispered to Janet, if it looks like the asteroid's going to hit us, she paused and swallowed hard. Then we'll come so the kids can enjoy each other's company. I couldn't deny them that either, Janet said as she turned around and saw Michael and Kimberly facing each other, holding hands with their heads touching forehead and nose. She started to open her mouth but stopped herself. Kimberly and Michael just stood there looking at each other, holding hands, oblivious to the adults watching them. After about 5 minutes, Benjamin coughed and they glanced over at him. Okay, you two, I hate to break you apart, but we need to hit the road so we can get back tonight. You can text or talk on the phone while we're driving. I can't text because I'm driving the Jeep, Michael said disappointedly. And we have to have an open discussion on what we're going to do, Monica added, shooting a glare at Kimberly. Michael gave Kimberly one last hug before climbing the Jeep. I got to chase around because Michael backed in the Jeep after. I got to change this sentence here. Let's see. And pulled out of the driveway, followed by his parents' van and trailer. It was going to be a long drive to Jacob's. Hang on. To Jacob Lake. It's no S in it. Okay, to Jacob Lake. It was a little after 9 o'clock that night when Michael and the Clarks got back home. They were all bone tired from the 5.5-hour drive each way to the cabin, and the hour and a half of unloading supplies. After 5.5, hang on, let me count. I think I moved it. 5.5. It's 11 hours. Yeah. After an hour and a half unloading supplies. After parking the trailer in the side yard next to the garage, they parked the Sienna in front of the gate and the van and Jeep inside the garage. Hang on here. Inside the garage. Janet claimed first shower, and Benjamin went in the kitchen to make some grilled cheese sandwiches. Michael checked his text messages for any from Kimberly. There were 2 from her around noon and 1 from James of the venture crew he had joined after earning his Eagle Scout rank. He opened the first message from Kimberly. Hey, Super Scout, call me when you get a chance. Love you. Michael smiled. She wasn't gonna let go of calling him Super Scout. For some reason, he liked it. Just as he just had to come up with a pet name for her that she would like too. He opened a second message from her. My love, my Super Scout, I sent you an email. I know you can't read it till you get home. Please read it in private. And no, I did not sext you. It's pure from my heart. God, I'm so in love with you. Michael walked over and turned on his laptop and then went into the kitchen, grabbed one of the sandwiches his adopted father had just pulled from the griddle and asked him, Dad, who pursued who, you or Mom? He took a bite of the sandwich. Benjamin looked around and listened to make sure the shower was still running before he answered. You have to promise not to tell anyone what I'm about. Michael interrupted. Don't. That's all I wanted to know. Michael, your mother was a very headstrong woman. Hang on, I'll get that in there. Michael, your mother was a very headstrong woman, young woman. Well, she still is. So is Kimberly. Don't rush into what should wait until you're ready. That's kind of cryptic. I got swooped up in your mother's pursuit of me, and I got her pregnant at 16. She freaked out thinking that I would leave her, and she went to a backstreet doctor who damaged her so bad that she could never get pregnant again. If I'd taken precautions or let her know beforehand that I loved her no matter what, she might not have freaked out and gone to that doctor. Michael thought for a minute as he chewed on another bite of grilled cheese, then asked, then you wouldn't have become foster parents, would you have? Benjamin stared at Michael for several seconds, answering him, no, probably not. And then we wouldn't have adopted you. Did you love Mom as much as she loved you at first? Why? Are you having second thoughts about how you feel about Kimberly? I'm trying to figure out my first thoughts, Michael said exasperatedly. I've had some sort of feeling for years, but from afar. But now what? Is she moving too fast or am I moving too slow? Is it all right to let her take the lead in our relationship, or am I supposed to? What do I do? Who's older? Benjamin asked, expecting the answer to be Michael. She is, Michael smiled, by 1 day. Benjamin chuckled. You're screwed. What? Michael exclaimed in surprise at the always calm and collected foster parent he had known most of his life using such a term. You're screwed. She's older and she knows it. That makes her more right in any argument you guys will have. She's a woman, and that makes her even more right. All you can say is yes, dear, and try to sneak in a suggestion to get her to change her own mind once you're married. If I marry her, Michael said, suddenly worried about this relationship. Oh, you'll marry her. Of that I have no doubt. Just don't tell your mom that. Just try to get Kimberly to wait until you're 19. Say it's out of spite for the adults thinking that you guys couldn't wait until you guys were even 18. Get her on board with being stubborn about waiting. Okay. So what brought this on so suddenly? Your mother said you didn't say squat on the drive back. Michael thought for a second about the text messages and how best to answer his dad. So he handed his phone to Benjamin. Benjamin looked at the phone cautiously, took the phone cautiously, looking intently at Michael before reading the messages. He smiled and handed the phone back. Like I said, you're going to marry her. Just slow her down if you can. Michael nodded, grabbed another grilled cheese sandwich, and started going to his laptop. Take two. You need the comfort, Michael said as he grabbed another. You know, you're not too good at comforting. Nope, I just keep it real. Comforting's your mother's forte. Okay, and okay, froze there for a minute. And so give me a second here. I just got an email from Shadow Scout. I got to go over to the other computer here and set something up really quick here. So give me a second here. All right. I got everything prepped. I just needed the link to set up the live stream at 2 o'clock with him. So give me a second here. Enter, stream this to your thing. Boom, boom. Got that going. Give me a second. I got that. Control C. There. All right. So I just want to make sure I get this in here so it's done for ahead of time so everybody knows about it here. So that's that. And this one here is this one here. And there. That down. Copy this and paste it into the StreamYard. And upload the thumbnail for it for StreamYard. Da, 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 da. And hang on, and there we go. Bingo, apply. And save changes. There we go. Almost done, folks. Just waiting for that to load up there. And oh, there's that. Okay. And back to that up there. And this here. There we go. All right. Got that done. All right. So back to this here. Or was I? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right there. Nope, I just keep it real, Benjamin smiled. Comforting is your mother's forte. Michael picked up his laptop and carried it to his bedroom. He turned on the light with his elbow and closed the door with his foot. Then he set the grilled cheese sandwiches on the headboard and turned around and sat on his bed with his back against the wall. Moving the cursor, he opened the email and found two emails, one from Annie of the Venture Crew and one from Kimberly. He opened Kimberly's first. It contained a video attachment. He reached over to the compartment in the headboard where his MP hang on here. MP4 player was and snagged the headphones from it. He plugged them in and clicked the play icon. Kimberly appeared sitting on her bed. She was wearing a red t-shirt with marine and bright yellow across the front. On the wall behind her were 2 katana swords, 4 shurikens, 2 sais, and a dozen throwing knives. In the middle of it, hang on, that's backwards. Let me get over here in the middle of all of it. There we go. In the middle of all of it was a picture of a Marine major, her father. Over the bottom corner of her father's pictures was Michael's Eagle Scout Court of Honor picture that was on his Instaface page. The significance of her putting his picture with her father's was not lost on Michael. Below that was a display case with her father's funeral flag, his dog tags hanging on it, as well as his Medal of Honor. My love, my super scout, she began with a smile on her face, but he could see sorrow in her eyes. My mom and I talked a lot after you left. I'm afraid she just doesn't get why Jake's is not a safe place to bug out to. She still doesn't trust us to be alone together. Heck, I'm not sure I trust myself to behave if I were alone with you. She laughed. I can keep my calm in a fight and not let my emotions control me, but when I get around you, she lowered her gaze and shook her head. I get all scatterbrained and need a cold shower. Like today when I found some YouTube videos of the last competition we were at. The way you rapid fired those 3 shots during the warm-ups. Wow. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and slowly blew it out and took another. After several breaths, she opened her eyes again. See, I can't even talk about how sexy you look without getting hot and bothered. Anyway, I did get Mom to agree to send a couple boxes of our clothes with you to your cabin in case we need to leave Jake's quickly. She hopes this will get me to lay off bugging her about Jake's. I'll not bring it up tomorrow, but Tuesday I'll start again. But I want to keep it low key. Hey, do you have an archery range set up at your cabin? We need to keep in practice. Speaking of practice, I need to start teaching you martial arts so I can have someone to spar with. She sighed and closed her eyes for a few moments, then continued. Even though things were really quiet around town today, I know that will not last. And when things bust loose, it will be bad. I hope we can get everything moved before then. Mom says that because everything is almost normal, she has to go to work tomorrow, or at least a half day. But first, we're going to get more supplies. Mom ordered those solar panels you told us about from Amazon. They should be here tomorrow by 8 p.m. We picked up a little cargo trailer. It's not as big as we wanted, but everything else they had was too big for us to tow comfortably with the truck. We're going to make a couple trips to Jake starting tomorrow afternoon. It will take a little over 4 hours to get there. Still too close to the city for my comfort. We should be back by 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Can you come over sometime tomorrow morning? Ow, hang on a second. Let me see. Can you come over tomorrow? Change that to early. E-A. And talk to my mom about supplies. You better bring your parents. They will be able to relate to her better than the boy I'm crazy about, as has called you several times. She smiled sheepishly. The man I want to marry. There, I said it. I want to marry you. Michael Edward Moore, will you marry me? She looked down. Now I've done it. Please be gentle if the answer is no. She picked up the remote, aimed it at the screen, and the video ended. Michael picked up his phone and texted Kimberly. Yes, but in 22 minutes. We have to prove we are better than raw emotions. My mom thinks that you've got your hooks into me. She's right, but we can't let her know it for sure. I love you too. Now I gotta go take a cold shower. He hit send. Then James's text popped up and Michael clicked on it. Hey Michael, the crew has a couple of karate demonstrators to give us a demo Tuesday. Will you be there? Michael mused about this. If things were quiet in town, he might go. Heck, I should take Kimberly, he thought. Then he remembered Annie's email and opened it. Michael, the crew is having several karate demonstrators to give us a demonstration at Tuesday's meeting. We figured this would be a good idea with a possibility of things getting out of hand as the asteroid passes near the Earth. Please let us know if you're going to make it and if you're going to bring any guests. Thanks, Annie. Okay, now I got to ask Kimberly, he said to himself. Kimberly was prancing around her room as quietly as she could after reading Michael's answer. Yes, 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 Mrs. Michael Moore, she said to herself. Wait, Kimberly Moore. I like it. She turned to the picture of her father. Dad, I wish you were here to meet Michael. He's your type of scout. All right. Chapter 4. And it's only been an hour and a half. Yes, I'm going to go ahead with this, but first I got to go take care of something, and I will be right back. Let me get down here to this. There we go. And I'll be right back. Okay, let me get rid of that. Back up here. All right. And all right, so chapter 4, engaged. September 21st. 2037. Oops. Oh. As soon as he woke up, Michael texted Kimberly asking her to text, not call him back. After 15 minutes, he texted again. 5 minutes later, his phone pinged with a text from her. Sorry, I was in the shower. What's up, husband? Love, Kimberly Moore. Michael started laughing in spite of all. He texted her back, give me 2 minutes to get outside, then call. Michael quietly and as quickly as he could left his room, went down the hall to the stairs down to the ground floor. When he went out to the garage and then out the side door to the trailer, his phone rang as he was reaching the door handle of the trailer. Hold on a second, he whispered. He's opened the door and stepped into the trailer, carefully closing the door slowly so he would not make any noise. Hey, Mrs. Moore, you want to go to Talks? Sure, see you there. They hung up and hit the Talks icon. A second later, they appeared on each other's screens. She was wrapped in a towel and was drying her jet black hair with another towel. 22 months, huh? I was hoping for a date a lot sooner. Yeah, my mom's positive we're going to boink before we get married. And if we do that, then that will just show her how right she was. That we have no self control and are too immature to get married. My dad said to slow down and set a long engagement just to prove our moms we are in love. Okay, hang on. I can see that. Make it sound better. Okay, I can see that, she pouted. I guess we're just going to suffer for the next 22 months. We can still hug and kiss and cuddle in front of them until they can't stand it and tell us to get married. Michael suggested with a smile. No, that would be mean to them and us. I need to control my desires. You're not the only one, Michael added softly. What? Kimberly asked in surprise. I know you have feelings for me, but I thought you were just going along with my fast pace because I don't know. I love you and I want you every night, but I respect you too much to do that outside of marriage. So you don't want me to drop my towel? Not until we're married. You don't sound or look like you mean it. She reached up and started to release the towel. No! Hang on, I've got to get bold. Come on here. Bold. No! Michael shouted and turned his phone away so he couldn't see the screen. You do mean it, Kimberly pronounced joyfully. You are truly in love with me and not just in lust with me. Of course I love you. I said it, didn't I? Yeah, but boys say that all the time just to get into girls' pants. I'm not like that, Michael said defiantly. He turned the phone back and looked at her again. I know that now. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. Please forgive me. Please, Kimberly said humbly. Your towel's slipping. Kimberly's hands flew up and pressed the towel to her chest. Sorry, let me get dressed. She slipped from view but kept talking. You know, you're the first guy I ever thought about showing myself to. I'm glad you said no. It would have made it harder not to misbehave when I get around you. I hope our choice to wait has the best results. CH Michael added. What do you mean? I'm not sure I should tell you this, but I think my dad wanted us both to know. No, otherwise he wouldn't have told me last night. You're probably right. What was it? My dad said he got swooped in my mother's pursuit of him, and he got her pregnant at 16. She freaked out, thinking that he would leave her, and she went to a backstreet doctor for an abortion. The doctor damaged her so bad that she could never get pregnant again. Ooh, that's harsh. Dad said if he'd taken precautions or let her know beforehand how much he loved her, no matter what, she might not have freaked out and gone to the doctor. Kimberly didn't say anything for several seconds, then spoke. But then they wouldn't have become foster parents and they wouldn't have raised you, would they? I asked Dad the same thing, and he said probably not, and that they wouldn't have adopted me. This may be harsh, but I'm glad things happened the way they did. They brought us together. Does that include what happened to your dad? Michael asked, cautious. Did I spell that right? No, I didn't. Cautiously. Again, Kimberly didn't say anything for several seconds before her hesitating voice came back to Michael. I'm not sure. He was at the competition where I first wanted to ask you out, so he knew about you before he left on his last mission. He said I should go over and talk to you anyways. Maybe you would have asked me out, but I didn't want to do it with him there. If he hadn't died, I think he would have pushed us to date. I'm not so sure that I'm glad everything happened that way. For everything that has, I'm not so sure I'm glad for everything that has happened. But if we started dating back then, we might have done stupid things and broke up before our feelings could become love. You're right, but I still miss him. Kimberly sighed. I understand, he said softly, then more energetically. Are you guys going to make another trip to Jake's tomorrow afternoon? Mom has to work tomorrow. I think we will go this afternoon and Wednesday. I'm not sure about Thursday or Friday. After I learned my Eagle Scout, I joined a venture crew to earn the Silver Award. They meet on Tuesdays, and they're having several karate demonstrators coming in to give a demonstration and talk about self-defense and what to do during the passing of the asteroid. Anyways, they want to know if I'm bringing any guests, and I thought it'd be nice if you would go with me. A date? She asked excitedly and dropped back onto the bed wearing a flannel shirt and camo cargo pants. Yeah, I guess it was sort of a date. I'm not good at asking girls out. You're doing just perfect, she smiled, and she struggled to put her socks on. After all, date is finding a spouse, and you've done that. That I have. Actually, my spouse found me, he corrected himself. Knocked you down, you mean, she giggled. There's nobody in the world I'd rather be knocked down by, he smiled sweetly. And he smiled sweet. Sorry, that's wrong. He smiled. Why did I put by in there? Oh, I know why. That was a typo on the wrong line. He smiled sweetly. And there's nobody I'd rather be knocked up by. 22 months? Michael cautioned quickly. Let me put quickly in there. Yes, 22 months. 22 months, she sighed. You know, it feels better with a date set. I don't feel so stressed about us being together because I know we will. I just wish it was only 10 months. It does feel better. I think we need to show them we have self-control. I hear my mom moving around. I better go so that she doesn't freak out that we're talking about her, knowing Kimberly groaned. I've got some things to do too. I'll see you later, my super scout. I'll see you soon, my heart. Oh, you're so sweet. I love you. I love you too. Her hand hovered over the keyboard for a second, then she hit the key that ended the call. All right. Yesterday afternoon, Monica had called her cousin Jake and talked to him about Kimberly's concern with the visibility from the roadway and the lack of defensible positions. He had agreed with the assessments and said that's why he had gotten together with several of the other homeowners and formed a neighborhood defense group. They would be blocking off access roads and posting guards and hidden wood lookouts. Hearing that made Kimberly even more nervous, that he knew there were major shortcomings in security of the place and was trying to rely on some neighbors for protection because he expected trouble to come their way. Today, Monica thought that she needed to do something to ease Kimberly's fears. She asked Kimberly what she thought about them getting some pistols. Monica had her husband's Colt Special Combat Government 45, but it was the only pistol she had. Kimberly was complaining, and rightly so, that she needed a second pistol since she already had the one in 45. She figured out she should stick to the one type of ammunition. They stopped by a small gun shop as soon as it opened, and after talking to the owner for nearly half an hour about the pros and cons of different makes and models, Monica decided on the ones she felt met her needs. The shop owner was writing up the receipt for a couple of auto pistols when Monica showed him her driver's license. He saw her late husband's photo in her wallet and stopped writing and went to the back room and came back with a dusty box and pulled out a matched pair of Colt lightweight Commanders. He said that a customer had ordered and paid for them 2 years ago but never picked them up. Then he told her that her husband had saved his son's life while he was in the Middle East and he owed her. He gave her the guns and the adjustable shoulder holster rig and 4 magazines the customer had paid for, and 4 more magazines along with 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Then he asked Kimberly what gun she wanted. But she said she was only 17 and into archery and swords. He nodded and pulled out a small semi-auto pistol and placed it on the counter in front of her. It was a baby Browning chambered for 25 caliber CAP with a 6-round magazine. He explained that he couldn't bring her father back, but he could thank him by giving her the gun to help keep her alive. He gave her 1,000 rounds of cellular and bought 35 grain semi-metal jacket and and 25 rounds of 50 grain Hornady XTP hollow point for it. He told her to use the semi jacket for target practice and keep the hollow points in it at other times. He also gave her 2 extra magazines for it, as well as a cleaning kit. Kimberly reluctantly accepted the gun and thanked him. He said he couldn't bring her dad back like her dad had brought back his son, but he would help protect him as thanks for his sacrifice. He then told Monica that he put the baby Browning in her name on the paperwork. Suddenly, Kimberly remembered that her dad had hidden a rifle in the attic. She'd caught him packing it away 4 years ago, just before he went on one of his deployments. He told her not to tell her mother unless there was a major disaster and they had to leave. When she asked her father about it, he told her that it was a Colt Car 15 and that it used 223 ammunition. Kimberly told the shop owner what she remembered about the gun, and he said she had a good memory, suggested that come on, get over here, find it right, just right, that they buy 500 rounds of ammunition for it and learn to use it at a range since he was over 16 and could legally possess a rifle. After all the paperwork was completed and everything was paid for, he helped them out to their truck with the ammunition. When they got home, she found that the box he'd carried out to the truck contained a note from the gun owner and 2,000 rounds of full metal jacket and 223 ammunition. Monica read the note and started crying. It was signed, Martin Cooper, a grateful father. Kimberly went into the house and Kimberly went into the house and up to the hang on, let me fix this. Partially finished attic. She went to the access door to the unfinished section and crawled in. About 6 feet back in the crawl space there, where the roof slopes down to the outside wall, she found the gray gun case. She pulled it back as she worked her way out of the crawl space. Once she had it out, she brushed it off and placed it on the small table against the wall. Kimberly opened the case and saw her father's rifle. It was dark blue, almost black, and had a short buttstock on it that appeared to be too short for her father to use. There were 6 magazines at one end of the case and 4 boxes of ammunition at the other. In the front of the barrel, in a recess cut into the foam padding, was a Leopold scope. There was 10 large moisture-absorbing packs of silica placed around the rifle. There was also a 10-inch black tube in a plastic bag, and in the bag were the owner's manuals for the rifle, the scope, and some handwritten instructions for the suppressor. Kimberly pulled out the manuals and started reading them when her mom called out that she had to go to work. Michael was at Batteries Plus getting a half dozen LiFePO4 or lithium iron phosphate deep cycle batteries for the cabin. He was up early thinking about his first, She was up early thinking about his first meeting Kimberly at Harbor Freight and realized that while his parents had a 6,500 watt tri-fuel generator and a 2,000-gallon underground propane tank. If no one was making deliveries, they would run out and wouldn't be able to get more. He woke his parents up with it. He had woke his parents up with this revelation. They agreed that they needed to change their plans. So he tapped into his college fund and ordered 30 100-watt solar panels on Amazon Prime, and they would arrive by 8 o'clock Wednesday evening. Wednesday evening, according to the website. With these batteries and solar panels, they'd be able to make the propane last for maybe 10 years. Benjamin and Janet were going to get some electrical appliances to replace the propane ones at the cabin. They would get a countertop induction cooktop and an electric convection oven and a toaster oven and an electric clothes dryer. There was already a microwave at the cabin. After this stop, he was heading back to load the batteries into the trailer. Then he would order a 5,000 watt 240 volt inverter from Amazon. It was a much better unit than what he saw at Harbor Freight and caught for the same cost. It would take 3 days for it to get here, so they would have it for the Friday trip to the cabin. After that, he was going to go back to archery headquarters and pick up a high-powered crossbow. When the Clarks had foster children, they couldn't own guns, and they got into archery and were quite skilled at it. Now he needed something that had more range than their compound bows. Michael wasn't sure if his adopted parents wanted guns. A crossbow would meet their needs and could be shot by all of them. If he was lucky, he'd get everything done and still get to the Jackson's house before they headed out to Jake's. It amazed Monica that so many people just went along like sheep or lemmings walking off a cliff, never asking questions or doubting what they were told. Hang on, I need to change that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, comma, never asking questions or doing what they're told. Yeah, made it connected there. Okay. Then she thought to herself that for once that was okay by her, since no one was panicking. She and Kimberly were able to get supplies they needed to survive what she was now sure was coming. They headed to her work at Moon Valley Nursery. When they arrived, they found the place was as busy as a normal day. Okay, Kimberly, Monica started. You try to look like you don't feel well. I told my boss I had to take you to the doctor this morning. I don't want to piss him off any more than this whole thing is going to. Got it. What's wrong with me? You think you're in love, Monica teased and chuckled. Very funny, Kimberly said dryly. Seriously, what did you tell him? That you were having really bad upper stomach pains. Oh, an ulcer. I can do that. They got out of the Ford F-150 and were walking towards the main building when a huge military truck with a long trailer carrying 3 cargo containers pulled up and stopped by them. The driver's door swung open and a young man in his early 20s hopped out and landed right in front of them. Excuse me, he said with a big toothy grin. Do you know who I would see about getting a bunch of fruit trees and citrus trees in tubs that size? He pointed to some trees that were in squared tapered tubs that were about 3 feet across at the top. How many are you looking to get? As many as I can load into these cargo containers. Into these containers. Yeah, I didn't put cargo on there. C-A-R-G. Into these cargo containers, he replied. What are these, 8 by 20? Yep. Monica did some quick figuring ahead and said we should be able to get 12 in each container for a load of 36 trees. Perfect. Hang on. He said with a big smile, how soon can we get them loaded? Well, first, how many you want of what type? 6 Granny Smith, 6 Honeycrisp, 6 Meyer Lemon, 12 Washington Navel Orange, and 6 Mormon Apricot, he said, as he scratched his head. That'll do for this trip. I can get that written up, Mr. Daniels. Just call me John. Okay, John, do you have an account with us? Not yet, but I do have cash, he said with even a bigger smile. We'll get you loaded right away. You said this trip? Yep, I plan on making several more this week. Monica stopped and looked at John in the eyes for several seconds and said quietly, Tawaki? John stopped smiling and looked around carefully. Maybe. Then let's get you loaded up. John smiled again. All right. Monica yelled over to where a couple of the yard hands were standing around. Get over here now. Then to John. On your next trip, you don't have to use cargo containers. We can get 60 trees in one load on the bed, but you'll have to tarp them. But you get almost twice as many per trip. No, I got a bunch of containers to move to the same place, so I'll just use them. Yes, this is Mrs. Jackson. Mr. Daniels here is going to get 36 36 of this size container. Get the board, the big forklift, and pull the containers, and I'll have the order for you by the time you get them offloaded. Right away. As soon as you get those unloaded, I'll go get 3 more trailers for you to load up for tomorrow, and then I can load these back on the trailer. Monica blinked. You weren't kidding that you said you're going to make several more trips. How many do you plan on? 1 load a day until you run out. Let's go write this up and see if we can get you an account set up too. 20 minutes later, Monica's boss had set an account up for John. He'd paid for the first load and was heading off to get 3 more containers while they loaded the trees in the first 3 containers. Monica's boss was so excited that Monica brought this new client in that he wasn't mad about her missing most of the morning, or that she had another doctor's appointment in several hours. Monica didn't tell him she just happened to arrive at the same time as John. Kimberly picked out the seeds she wanted, and Monica took her home. After she dropped Kimberly off, Monica went back to work to wrap up a few things, and she wanted to talk to John some more. She got back there just ahead of John and quickly made sure the trees were loaded. He was ever by Alpine to give her a jingle. He said that he was headed north near the Utah border and probably wouldn't be down this way for a while after Saturday. She took the card back and wrote on the back and told him that if in a year or so she saw her pickup, which she pointed out, and if the phones were still working, give her a call. He said he would and smiled and left. Janet and Benjamin were unloading the appliances when Michael got home. The gate to the side yard had both sides open and the van backed up to the trailer. Michael got out quickly and closed both sides of the gate. Guys, hang on, got to correct that. He said exasperatedly, we got to keep a low profile of what we're loading into the trailer. Benjamin and Jacket looked stricken at their loss of attention to security. We were so excited with the deals we got, we weren't thinking. Well, what'd you get? Michael asked as he looked in the back of the trailer. There was an electric stove. That was a discontinued model for 40% off. We got 4 portable induction countertops that were cheaper than the double counter unit. We can pull them out and use them as needed. They're only 120 volts, not 240. We can even use them outside. Janet bubbled with excitement. We passed on the convection oven because of the power usage, but we got something better. Michael looked in and gulped. Sitting there was a big box that had printed on it, Sweetheart 48-inch wood-burning stove. Wow, we'll never run out of fuel for that. Our thoughts exactly. It'll take some getting used to. My grandmother used when I was a little girl. She said you had to keep an eye on it or you could burn dinner faster than you could blink. I think she was exaggerating what she remembered. We'll have to build an extension to the kitchen so we can set it up so we can use it year round without overheating the cabin. I just want to make it through the winter first, Janet said, a little on edge. Well, let's get it moved to the trailer, Michael said as he climbed into the van. 45 minutes later, they had the van and Jeep unloaded and were collapsed on the couch. Man, that thing is heavy. Those batteries aren't exactly light either. Yeah, but you don't have to carry all of them at once. True. Michael looked at his watch. It was almost 1 o'clock. I'm going to go over to Kimberly's and talk to her mom. That's dangerous, Benjamin interjected quickly. Kimberly agrees and suggests I bring both of you with me. The Clarks groaned. Kimberly was gauging the best time to tell her mother that the Clarks were coming over to ask her out for tomorrow night. Oh, no. Kimberly was gauging the best time to tell her mom that Michael was coming over to ask her out for tomorrow night. She carried a storage tub out to the pickup and handed it to her mother, who was in the bed of the truck. Okay, hang on. I just got a weird thing pop up here. I got to get this out of my thing so I can see what I'm doing here. I hate it when it does this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, stupid Microsoft said we're going to stop supporting Windows 10, back in November or whenever, yet they're still sending updates. It's like, anyways, all right, let's get this. I could get Michael to come over and load this for us, she said slyly. Monica froze in mid-movement of the tub. Did you invite him already? Not exactly. What then exactly? He asked if he could bring his parents over to talk before we leave. Talk about what? Oh, several. Like survival supplies, communications between Jake's place and their cabin, asking me out on a date with a chaperone to watch us. Monica slipped and landed with her backside on the wheel well of the bed of the pickup. Are you okay, Mom? I was. Hang on here. Let me get this here. And make that. I was, she grunted as she picked herself off the floor of the bed of the pickup. Don't surprise me like that. You knew he was going to have to ask me out. Yeah, but kind of that hope it wouldn't happen. You're my baby girl. Well, it has, or it's going to. I'm growing up, Mom. Hang on, let me add this in here. Monica side by side. Yes, you are. Monica sighed heavily, whether I like it or not. There's one positive note for you, though. What's that? I'm not joining the Corps. Yes, there is that. She sighed. Sighed again, then asked, when will they get here? In a few minutes, I think. Then let's finish packing, Monica said as she climbed down out of the bed. They hurriedly hauled the rest of the storage containers out to the truck. Now Monica was wishing she had gotten the camper shell for the Ford. They used ratchet straps to secure the tarp over the containers in the back of the pickup. They were heading back into the house when they saw Michael's Jeep turning off the street into their driveway. Kimberly gasped and smiled broadly. Monica noticed Kimberly's reaction but said nothing. When the driver's door opened, it wasn't Michael that stepped out, but his adopted father. It was his mother that stepped out of the passenger side door. Monica saw her daughter's face betray the sorrow that was flooding her spirits at the thought that Michael wasn't there. Suddenly there was a loud thud and a high-pitched screech as the Jeep's back door opened. Suddenly, we have got to get this door fixed, Michael complained loudly. Why? You only use it when we're driving you. If I was driving, one of you would have to use it then. It would have to use it, and then it would get fixed. That's why you ride in the back when we're riding in it. We drive. One of these days, I'll be driving. Oof. Michael was cut off by Kimberly slamming into him with a hug. Hey, husband, she whispered in his ear. He hugged her back, picked her up, twirled in circles with her laughing, then stopped and lowered her till her toe touched the concrete. Hello, Kimberly Moore. Hang on. And WHISPER and whispered, hello, Kimberly Moore. Hey, Mrs. Clark, Mr. Clark, I'm sorry about blowing past you like that. Kimberly was all Janet said. Young love, Benjamin said, just be careful where you're rushing into. Yes, sir, Kimberly said in a humble voice as she broke her and Michael's hug. Hang on, got to fix that typo there. There we go. Hello, Mrs. Jackson. Is there anything we can help with? No, we're all packed, she said to Kimberly. You knew they were going to offer to help, didn't you? Kimberly looked at the ground. Yes, Mother. Sorry, I guess she had other ideas, Monica said to the Clarks. Yes, Mother, I do. Monica glared at her daughter. And what would that be? Help to survive at Jake's. So you're finally on board with staying there? No. Hang on, let me make 1, 2, 3. No, but if that's where you are, that's where I'll be to protect you. I just want to make sure that the elements don't get us. All right, that explains a lot. Monica sighed heavily. Let's go inside where we can sit at least. When they were inside the house, Monica directed the Clarks to the corduroy couch again. Benjamin sat closer to her, then Michael, which surprised Monica, then Janet on the other side, and Kimberly sat on the floor next to Janet's feet. Another surprise to both Monica and Janet. Monica, how many trips are you planning to make hauling supplies to Jake's? Benjamin asked. Several more than I'd planned when we first talked. You may want to get something bigger than that small trailer. You would make fewer trips and have more supplies that you could use once there. That makes sense, but I never towed a trailer. I don't think I can handle one like yours, which is all they had. Your truck can. It's just practice getting used to how the trailers handle and how to load them. You don't need one that big. You don't need that one that big. A 10-foot one would quadruple what you can take each trip. And it's rodent proof. That makes a great place to store your food. Even in the storage bins that you have won't keep. Even the storage bins that you have won't keep the rodents out for long. They'll chew a hole in them, Michael added. But they're so big. They make low-profile trailers. The drawback is you have to bend over to get in and out and will hit your head a few times. That just happens with low roofs. You will need more food than you think, Janet said, looking down at Kimberly, who had moved closer and put her head on Janet's leg. Kimberly can use her laptop to download a spreadsheet calculator to show you how long your food will last and how much you will need. Don't count on any food that you're planning on growing until late summer. To get that much food up there, you'll need a bigger trailer. You might want to get a small chest freezer for your more perishable foods. In the wintertime, you'll notice it gives off a little warmth when it's running as a bonus. But we don't have much power. The 5 or 7 cubic foot models don't run very often, and the 100-watt panel kit will charge up the truck battery, and a big deep cycle RV battery just fine, Benjamin said. Looking at Michael, Monica said, "Well, I took your advice and ordered the 200-watt kit and got 4 LiFePO for batteries, so we could run an electric blanket, LEDs, and an induction hot plate. Great. That'll also handle the refrigerator and a small office freezer if you want one. Office refrigerator if you want one." We'll see what it looks like up there this evening, Monica said, trying to digest all the information and suggestions. Whatever you do, don't plan on having to rely on power from Jake's house. The grid will go out soon after people start to panic. We can't count on electrical workers staying on the job when there's trouble around their homes. They're going to stay home to protect their families, Michael cautioned. Do you have any weapons other than Kimberly's bows and swords? Hang on, let me get over here. I forgot to add a sentence in here. We won't. I'm not. There is a so and and down here. Okay, so we won't, but I'm not sure if there's a lot of space for more solar panels yet. ASK Michael asks, do you have any other weapons? Do you have weapons other than Kimberly's bows and swords? Yes, we do. When you get to Jake's, you should ask if there's a place you can practice shooting, preferably where no one can see or hear you. Do you have plenty rounds of ammunition? 1,000 rounds of 45, 2,000 rounds of 223, and 1,000 rounds of 25 CAP. If you can get twice that, you'll burn up a lot practicing. When I went to scout camp as an adult leader, I noticed they went through a lot at the gun range. I have 2 bows I want you to have for hunting, along with 500 shafts and assorted hunting tips. You don't want to have to use the rifle for, hang on, right, let's see. No, you don't want to have to use the rifle for hunting small game, Michael added. I'm sure we won't need them. Mom, Kimberly said, staring at her. Sorry, thank you. Thank you, Michael. We'll take them. Kimberly smiled and snuggled tighter against Janet's leg, prompting a reactionary question. Okay, Kimberly, what's with the kitty cat routine? Kimberly looked up at her with an innocent eye. I'm just trying to be subservient and submissive, be subservient, being subservient and submissive as a good future daughter-in-law should be. What makes you think that you and Michael are getting married? You said there was no way we were getting married before we were 18. That implied we could get married once we turned 18. Did I get that wrong? Benjamin busted out laughing. No, you didn't get that wrong. That's what was said. Janet turned to Benjamin. Whose side are you on? The truth's. He brought his laughter under control a little bit. Why don't we hear them out? This could be an interesting insight to their thinking. Janet and Monica stared at him for several seconds, then looked at Kimberly. Kimberly sighed, stood up. Then she stepped forward, took Michael's hand, and pulled him up next to her. Mrs. Clark, you said you'd like to know our thinking in our relationship. Yes, I did. I can say that it's evolving and maturing, I hope. Okay. Now, all of you, please don't say a word till we finish. Promise? Monica, Janet, and Benjamin nodded. Kimberly continued. Last night, I sent Michael a video and a message about what Mom and I talked about and how I was feeling. The more I expressed my feelings, the more I wanted him as my husband, she said, holding up a finger to stop any comments before they were made. I got a little flustered the way things were going and trying to express to him my feelings in a way a male would understand, so I just blurted out that I wanted to be his wife and asked him to marry me. And I texted back, yes, and they both looked, and then they both said, in 22 months. Benjamin started chuckling, then roared out laughing. What's so funny? You'll see, he said, then to Michael and Kimberly, still laughing. Why 22 months? Kimberly looked at her mom because you two do not trust us. You two don't trust us not to have premarital sex like I did, Monica said softly, like I did, Janet. Let me change this. Like I did, Janet echoed regretfully at her transferring her actions to the two before. We're not you guys. We made promises to wait until we're married, Michael said, pleading their case. Mom, Kimberly spoke softly. Did you or Dad make that promise? No. She replied quietly. Michael and I did. Heck, he won't even let me flash him on the phone. He doesn't want to see me in the wifely way until I'm his wife. She flailed his arms. He's the most trustworthy man we know. You should be encouraging us to go get married with your blessings. You're right, Benjamin said. And you have mine for whatever date you want to set. I trust you two to go on dates without a chaperone and come home pure. Janet started to protest and stop when she looked at two young people in front of her who were showing more self-control than she did at that age. I'm so afraid you'll make the same mistakes I did. Both of them were terrible mistakes. I see now that you won't. Michael and Kimberly looked at Monica and saw tears in her eyes. 22 months? Are you positive you can be that strong? With your help and trust, yes, Kimberly said as she reached in her shirt and pulled out a locket and showed it to, pulled out a locket and opened it, showing a picture of her father. Besides, I'm going to keep Dad between us until we're married. Okay, you can go on dates by yourself, so we don't have to tag along, Monica said with a sniffle of emotion. You do tomorrow. I already told the venture crew that I was bringing 4 guests to the meeting. Michael smiled. Monica chuckled a little. Okay, since you already said that we were coming. Kimberly stepped up to Janet and knelt down at her feet and took her hands. Mrs. Clark, I can promise you, I'll be stubborn in honoring Michael. I know he's the most special foster child you ever raised because you adopted him. I love him with all my heart, and I will keep him pure for our wedding day. I will tease him and test him, but I will not let him fail. I want to be the best daughter-in-law ever. I know you will, Janet said as tears streamed down her cheeks. I think that we should be about our tasks so they can go to Jake's and check it out, Benjamin said as he stood up smiling. Did you know what they were going to say? Janet asked Benjamin. Did I know? No. Did I guess? Kind of. Call us when you get back, please, Janet said to Monica. I will. All right. Chapter 5. I'm going to cut it off here because we're at almost 2.5 hours. But I am going to do one edit here right now real quick. 20, 37. Boom. Okay. All right. So, yeah, as you saw, I made a lot of changes as I was going through here today, getting things set up and clarifying points as we went along. So, the live stream with Shadow Scout is uploaded. You should be able to just go to the homepage, my Gray Man Prepping homepage, click on live streams, and it's there, so you can go, set a reminder or just go ahead and open and just let it sit on your screen or whatever. That way you can find it quickly and not have to wait for YouTube to send out notifications on it. And the topic is knowledge is power. What's in your library? Tonight, Survival Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern is after the 6,000 year Earth tilt. Monday, we're going to be on Camp Patton Family Compound is canning meal bases. And if you missed last night's live on Camp Patton Family Compound, it's worth going back to and watching. It was the home grocery store, talking about making sure you have all the supplies you need at home for a grocery store so you're not running off to the store all the time. And basically setting up a super pantry to make sure you have all the things you need on hand at times. And to save money doing it. How to save money doing it. Tactical Tuesday here on Gray Man Prepping is physical training. Do what you can. Friday, next Friday on Camp Patton Family Compound is Friday the 13th. Do the unexpected, and we're going to talk about unexpected things you can be doing that most people don't think about. All right. With that, everyone, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps: water, food, medicine, clothing. Learn a new skill every month. And think about planting your garden. Seed catalogs are out, so you can see what new seeds are out there, or old seeds if you prefer the standard staples. And so, yeah, get your figure out what you're going to plant this spring. All right. Take care, and I will see you in an hour and a half-ish for the live stream with Shadow Scout Swede and the Sofa Survivalist. All right, take care.